Hello horror fans, and welcome once again to the Horror Obese. Tonight I'll be talking about the last books I got on June and only one book so far in July. I'm going to start with the only book that I've gotten so far in July, which I got at a thrift store, and then I'll go from there. Okay, first book I got is The Best Ghost Stories Ever. Now, I know this is a scholastic classic, but I like reading to the youngins, to my little buddies in the family, and they like hearing me telling them all these ghost stories. So this is one of the reasons why I bought this. Now it's got some very interesting authors in it. Got works from Edgar Allan Poe to, what was his name? Washington? He's the guy from the Sleepy Hollow. So you've got W. Jacobs. It has the Monkey's Paw. And then you got, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. The Maskell of the Red Death, which is Edgar Allan Poe. And The Judge's House by Bram Stoker. And you even got Henry James, The Romance of Certain Old Clothes. So it's got some pretty cool authors that I would like to introduce to the little ones in the family. So they enjoy me telling them, and I like telling them to them. So that was The Best Ghost Stories Ever. And then I got, now this also is young adults, pretty much towards teens. Sometimes I like to read them. Sometimes they're cool, and sometimes they're even better than the adult towards novels. This one is from Mary Downing Hannon. I'm saying it right. It's called Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. Now, this is, it says here that what the little synopsis it has in the back of the book. Just before summer begins, 13-year-old Allie finds an old photograph. She recognizes the two children. One's her mother and the other Aunt Dulcie. But who is the third person, the one who's been torn out of the picture? Allie will have 2 months to figure it out, since she's spending the summer with her aunt and her cousin in the same house her mom and aunt used to live when they were kids. Then Allie meets Sissy. Sissy is mean, spiritful, and determined to ruin Allie's summer. Sissy also has a secret. Could it have something to do with the old photo? Allie is dying to find out, though. If she's not careful, that's exactly what might happen to her. Die, that is. So, I don't know. I'll probably end up giving it to one of the youngins in the fam. I'll probably read it so I could just tell her what it's about. So that was Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. Sounds cool. It's a ghost story. I like ghost stories. And in that thrift store, after I got that, these are the June books, I forgot to say. I found a lot of Dean Koontz, and some of them I hadn't heard of. You got Breathless, which was cool. Found that one. And then I found another Dean Koontz, Siege the Night. And I believe I read half of this book. Not quite sure, but now that I find it, I'm going to finish it. And I think what I'm about to show you next, this is probably my little nerdiness, my geekiness, my weirdness. But I like it. And it's Dean Koontz Thomas. Now, I saw the movie. I liked it. It was cool. But this is an old audiobook, and it's Dean Koontz Thomas. Books on tape. I saw it and I had to buy it. I mean, it's literally, it's like seven cassettes of the whole book. I am gonna jam to this. Wow. Well, I haven't started jamming out to this. And I say jamming out like if it's a soundtrack, but I like hearing these things. They're pretty cool. And this, the movie was cool, so I'm hoping this is, well, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm not hoping, I know it is. Now, that's not the only audio or books on tape I found, which to me was, I found Forever Odd. This one has less tapes. This one is five tapes. But I just couldn't leave them there. I couldn't. I have Audible on my phone, so I've listened to a couple of them. I don't get bored. I just believe, I don't know, I just like it. So those were that. This is what I got on that thrift store, which I thought was pretty awesome. Dean Koontz, Thomas, and Forever Odd. It's probably the best way I'm gonna be able to actually close enough to get to the book. And then, as always, go check out Goodwill. And I found a Louise Duncan novel I hadn't heard of. Well, I've only heard of the ones that came out in movies, which was, I know, which did last summer, and I'm still wondering if Killing Mrs. Tingle was part of it. I'm pretty sure it was, which then became Teaching Mrs. Tingle. Anyways, Summer of Fear. This is another ghost story. I just found it very interesting when I read the synopsis in the back. From the moment Julia arrived that summer, she seemed to seep into Rachel Bryan's life like a poison. Rachel knew she would feel sorry for her 17-year-old cousin, but why didn't Julia seem more grieved over her parents' recent deaths? Everyone else was enchanted by Julia, Rachel's parents, her brothers, her friends, and even her steady boyfriend. No one but Raquel, Raquel, seemed to notice Julia's fixed stare, her womanly body, the strange possessions she took pains to hide. Rachel's normally gentle little dog feared and loathed Julie from the start. What was it about her? What did she want with the Bryants? Soon all of Rachel's questions were replaced by terror, as she desperately tried to bridge the gap that had sprung up between herself and those she cared about most. So, I thought that was interesting. I had to get it. That was Summer of Fear. And then I found the Stephen King, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. I heard good things about this, so I'm gonna check it out. And I'm pretty sure I already have this in hardcover. I just like the paperback cover on it, and it's Stephen King, Insomnia. I like the cover, and I'm pretty sure I do have it. I probably don't, or I had it before, but that's it. I'm about to get it. So that was Stephen King, Insomnia. Then I hardly ever find any books by this guy, and he's a really good writer. I like it. I think the first one I read from him was Suffer the Children. And this is John Saul Black Lightning. And I like this author. He said, I think the first book I read from him that I actually finished was Suffer the Children, which I thought was really good. I tried to get on Creature. That was interesting, but didn't finish it. Then I lost it. But he's a really good author. I'm trying to see if any of his books have been turned to movies. Probably not. But who knows? That was John Saul Black Lightning. And then, as always, I'm always going to garage sales and trying to find what I'm looking for. And usually when I go anywhere, it's horror or sci-fi, anything that has to do with genre. And I found another John Saul, Midnight Voices. Like I said, I never really find most of any of these, but when I do, it's always nice, it's always cool. And he's a really good author. So that was Midnight Voices by John Saul. And then I got the novelization of The Wolfman. Now this is the Benicio del Toro, obviously, by the cover. I liked the movie, it was okay. Nothing compared to the original, but what can. That was The Wolfman. And last but not least, I got this also from a garage sale, and the only thing that caught my attention about it, it's Peter Benchley, and it's true stories. And what I read, it's his adventures in diving, and how he's somehow in the book, I haven't read it, but I started the first chapter, and it's like he wants people to respect more like the sea, which is pretty cool. I mean, and it's all about sharks. It's all true life shark stories. It's shark life. Now, I'm pretty sure there was another book, because this one, as soon as you open it, it says that it's adapted for young people. So it's probably not the whole book, or maybe not the, I don't know, but I saw it, I got it, and it's got pictures. Talks about Jaws in here, because I know there's a chapter called Jaws. And then I saw some of the photos that he's with a young Steven Spielberg. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Young Steven Spielberg. So it's got that. I don't know. I like it. I like shark stuff. Shark Life. Peter Benchley. So this is gonna be cool. And that, my Horror Fiends, are the books I got. The last books I got for June, and that one book first book that I got in July. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get more. Well, as always, hope you like what you see. Thanks for watching. Now, on to the next video.